Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 8 of What If Naruto Was Sent to the Highschool DxD universe. It's a story about Naruto gets sent to the Highschool DxD world during the fight with Kaguya. Also check out previous parts of this What If, link is in description. And I have created a playlist for this What If, where you can find all the previous parts, check that out as well. Before we start, please do support for more awesome content, it really means a lot. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. And also check the description for the creator of this great fanfic, and support them for making this fanfic. So let's start this video. Naruto sighed, as he dropped the glass cup he had drank from. He was seated with his legs crossed inside a restaurant, as he waited for his order. His mind wandered to the ongoing research on supernatural women he was conducting. The major population of supernatural women had huge tits and a nice ass to boot. Of course there were some normal women who had outstanding boobs and curves. But Naruto noticed there was a certain jiggle to the supernatural one's boobs every time they walk or took a certain motion. He still didn't have enough data yet. The shinobi glanced around the restaurant, and everyone was busy with their own thing. His gaze stopped on a man in his mid-20s, who's at the establishment with violet eyes and black hair with blonde fingers. Naruto raised an eyebrow at the unusual hair color. The stranger took a seat opposite Naruto, and gave him a little smile as he raised his hands up to beckon a waitress. The cute waitress walked to their table, and took the black-haired man's order. "I'd like a bowl of ramen, beautiful." He grinned at the waitress. Said waitress blushed hard at his attempt, and brushed her bangs behind her hair. Naruto looked at them with mild surprise, and squinted his eyes. As his pervert radar went on a frenzy. The waitress asked if he would like anything else to order. "Can I order your number?" He asked her, as he took a pen out from his pocket and a sheet of paper that magically appeared out of nowhere. Naruto owed when his pervert radar came online. This guy was a perv. The waitress blushed hard and proceeded to write her number. The black-haired man with blonde fringes winked at her and stared at her derriere. As she retraced her step back to the kitchen, which was a unique bounce to them. Naruto stared at it for a second and pondered if she was a supernatural being. He wondered if it was a special technique or a normal thing. "Ah, I still got it," the black-haired man said with nostalgia written all over his face. He watched as another waitress dropped Naruto's meal on the table. She gave a short bow and left them to attend to other customers. He relaxed into his chair and folded his arms while he watched Naruto inhale 4 bowls of ramen. "Another 6 bowls, please." The shinobi called out on his 5th bowl. Everyone stopped what they were doing and stared at Naruto like he had grew another head. All the customers started whispering distinctively about Naruto. "No way. How can 12 bowls of ramen fit inside his stomach? Does he have enough money to pay for it all?" The black-haired man laughed when he heard that. "Operation Access Uzumaki Naruto was a go. All his orders are on me," he said with confidence rolling off him and a certain smugness to his voice. "You mean all my orders?" Naruto asked, trying to confirm what he just heard. The man nodded at Naruto. Naruto's grin became downright predatory. The black-haired man's sweat dropped when Naruto ordered another 20 bowls of ramen. Isn't that a bit extreme?" he asked as he saw the new speed Naruto displayed, as he swallowed bowls after bowls of ramen. "Another 20 bowls," he called out. "That makes 40. Someone screamed. "Another 20 bowls." Naruto ordered another bowl again. A waitress told him they were out of ramen, and that they were on it. "Kadama." The restaurant owner squealed with glee. He had just made a lot of money. Bless the blonde man for ordering their most expensive ramen. They all ate. Naruto took out their phones and took pictures of Naruto, while others started counting the amount of plates he ate. The black-haired man had trouble closing his jaws at Naruto's appetite, and he also sweat dropped when Naruto rooked his ramen. Everyone in the restaurant suddenly fell asleep. As a silver-haired boy with hazel eyes entered the restaurant wearing a high-collared black leather jacket over a green shirt and burgundy jeans. "Azazel, why did you call?" Dale entered the restaurant expecting all the humans in there to be unconscious. He stared at the conscious Naruto and snapped his fingers, and little sparkles of white magic surrounded his fingers. "Your little tricks wouldn't work on me, brat," Naruto said with contempt. Dale narrowed his eyes at Naruto, because Biss' sleep spell wasn't working on Naruto, and the way he talked irked him. "Your face. It reminds me of a bat I once had the displeasure to meet. Thought bat was rotten to the core, so bad he was oozing maggots. This guy looks familiar." Ollie mulled. He wondered where he had met the blonde dude. "Leave it to youngsters to steal my thunder." Azazel, the now-named black-haired man, sighed. Recognition dawned on Volley when he heard Naruto's name. He remembered seeing him in a photo. "Naruto Uzumaki, what's so special about you? I'd love to have a go at him and find out how special he is myself." His desire to fight strong opponents was tingling. "Don't even think about it, Volley. I got here first." Azazel recognized the look on Volley's face. The kid was a handful sometimes. "Hello Naruto-san, I'm Azazel, the Governor General of the Grigori," Azazel said, as he leaned on the table and rested chin on his fist. If Naruto was surprised, his face didn't betray any emotion. Grigori. What's that? The home of fallen angels. So, that means, you're the big bad crow. Crow? Azazel questioned a bit confused. Thank you for the food. I'll take my leave. Naruto was about to stand up before Azazel spoke. Recently, a bunch of fallen angels have been killed around Kyoto lately. Pacey hears of mobile networking, and its effects on birds like doves, sparrows and crows. Azazel laughed out loud with his head reared back. Oh, that was a good one. I think I'm starting to like you. Well, back to business. Azazel's face morphed to a serious one. Naruto for a second thought he was a genin in front of a Kage. The aura around Azazel was like that of a Kage. I apologize for the rash and unforgivable acts of Kakabiel. I assure you he's not coming back from the depths of hell he's sealed in. Naruto nodded. You should have a tight leash on your subordinates. Their actions reflect on you. Good or bad. I'll take note of that. He paused as Naruto took a quick glance at his watch. What faction do you belong to? I belong to none. That's strange. A sacred gear user. I understand if you don't want to tell me, but if you are a threat to the current peace going on, I'll not hesitate to cut you down. Azazel's voice became stone cold at the end, as he let loose an intense roar. Make no mistake, Governor Crow, I care not for the current ceasefire your bunch called for, nor am I interested in waging senseless war. There's no need for empty threats. Naruto raised his own aura till it matched Azazel's. Ollie took a step forward when he sensed a change in the atmosphere, and summoned the divine dividing. He had underestimated the blondie greatly. The only thing that stopped him was the chuckling sound he heard from Azazel, and the sudden disappearance of the ominous aura around them. Rest assured, perverted crow, I'm not a threat. Thanks for the meal, I'll take my leave. Naruto stood up and drew the chair he was previously occupying in, and placed a check on the table. He walked past Azazel, and glanced at Ollie. The white one? You're so much different from the red one, but damn, you look like that devil dastard. Ali wondered who Naruto was referring to, when he said his face reminded him of a devil he knew. He shook his head in denial of the only explanation he had conjured up. No, it can't be. There's no way he was taking about my grandfather, Rizavim. The White Dragon Emperor assured himself. Damn it, that guy was more than expected. Well, we better get prepared. I have a feeling it's gonna be a wild experience. The summit of the Big Three. Flashback end. Stupid crow governor trying to intimidate me. I am the great Naruto-sama. Nobody intimidates me. Naruto yelled at the night wind. Dai shook her head with a smile on her face at Naruto's antics. Sometimes, he'd have these quick bursts of quirks. The goddess found it weird, but she was getting used to it. Now, where was I? She asked herself, as she placed a bowl filled with dough and searched for whatever she had in mind a moment ago. They enjoyed her stay with Naruto. He was unique and fun. Back in Kyoto Academy. What's your goal, Kateria? Surziches asked the devil woman in front of him, Kateria Leviathan. The leaders' summit was interrupted by a group of devils and magician a while ago. The meeting was still going on before a new dome surrounded Kyoto Academy, and the guards from all three factions weeks teleported to somewhere else, leaving the leaders and their respective bodyguards with Issei and others. The enemy had managed to capture Gasper, a damper and first bishop of Rias, and forcefully activated his sacred gear, Forbidden Baylor View. A sacred gear with the ability to freeze time momentarily. The sacred gear lived up to its name as Akeno and Aja were frozen, while Zenobia, Arena and Kaiba were protected by their holy swords. Issei and Vali on the other hand, were protected by the power of the dragons residing in them. Rias was exempted due her having direct contact with Issei before the sacred gear was activated. Ajuka, Surzich, Azazel, Penemu, Seraphol, and Grafia were on another level compared to Gasper, ergo they were exempted from the effects of Forbidden Valor View. Rias and Issei had left to go save Gasper, which left the rest before Kateria blew up the new building to Kingdom Come. Fortunately, the big three were able to create a shrimp on time. Thus, we now know why the Sis-Khan asked that question 3 paragraphs ago. What is your goal, Kateria? He scared again. Speaking about Kateria, Kateria was a tall bespectacled woman with a voluptuous figure. She had tan skin with long brown hair tied into a bun with a headset, and she had purple eyes. Her dress was fan service worthy in the Chelsea department. World chaos. She answered sharply. That's dumb. Azazel answered curtly. May I Michael, Surziches? Azazel asked as he unfurled his wings with focused attention on Kateria. Scene change. Naruto ran away from home when Gaia kidnapped his precious babies, Ramen, and decided they were having vegetables for dinner. Vegetables. That was unacceptable. Ramen-chan does not like to be touched or delayed. Its divine flavor was supposed to be savior with delight. Kuzo. Naruto kicked an empty deformed can lying on the ground. Ugh, I wonder if she had managed to master that technique. That brat's got talent. She would have mastered it to a greater caliber. I still can't believe that little runt is a 9-tailed fox. Seeing is believing. Touché. Flashback. Naruto flopped into the yellow futon face first with a heavy sigh. The events of today had him drained. The Japanese-style room was deeply appreciated compared to the sleeping quarters, mostly first floors and trees he had access to when he got to this new dimension. How did I get myself into this mess? He grabbed blonde locks in frustration. In a poof, 9 orange tails disappeared. The leader of the Kyoto faction was magnanimous enough to provide him a room to stay for a week. This was all due to the elder's decision. A week from now, he was going to fight for a position he had zero interest in. Naruto glanced at the door when he heard a knock on the wooden door. "Kunu?" Naruto asked as he flung the door wide open and let her in. "I thought you would have been asleep by now," she said as she sat on the futon in the center of the room. "Nah, I still got plenty energy left. What brings you here?" Naruto sat beside her. He could a gloomy look on her face. "Are you really going to become my father if mother fails?" Naruto didn't give a reply to her question, but the uncomfortable shift and the sudden awkward feeling the air told it all. "I never knew my father at all, so I don't know what to do about this, and when I try to bring the topic up my mother always dodged it. It's like she doesn't want me to know about him at all, and it hurts. Did he abandon us, or was I the cause of his disappearance? It all frustrates me." Naruto's lips tugged up a bit as he let a grunt out. "I was orphaned when I was barely an hour old. I never knew my parents, well not until I was 16. Kunu's yellow eyes glanced at Naruto beside her. "They were super important people in my village, and it turns out, my closest people knew who my parents were, and they never told me." Naruto turned and faced her. "I believe there's a reason why your mother decided not to tell you about your father, a good reason no doubt. Back then, if Naruto knew who his parents were, he would have surely ride on their coattails. Kunu, become a worthy daughter, so when you meet your father, he would no doubt be proud to call you his daughter." "You really think so?" Naruto placed a hand on her head. "Of course, I'm sure you're going to be the greatest Kyuubi to rule Kyoto ever, and your awesomeness would one day attract your father's attention wherever he is." At the end of the older blonde's speech, Kunu had a cute determined look on her face. "And then meet your mother and father would like happily ever after." A sweat drop and a strange smile appeared on Naruto's face. The little Kyuubi thanked him and bid him a good night. The displaced teen would have loved to stay and see her grow to greatness, but right now, he had a very important mission. "Well then, it's time to wake them sleeping beauties up." Naruto dipped a finger into his ink-filled mouth and drew a suppression seal on the floor. The innate ability granted by Jayuki was a great asset for seal masters. He was going to be busy all night. Naruto woke up with a startling gasp when he heard a knock on the door. Shinobi reflex kicked in and a kunai appeared in hand. It took a while before his brain interpreted what his eyes were seeing due to drowsiness. "Naruto-sama, it's time for breakfast." He stumbled as he tried to get up, trying to identify the unfamiliar voice. "Coming," he replied, and with a quick suitin jutsu, he had wiped the ink off the floor. "Follow me," the maid said when Naruto popped his head out. The shinobi complied, turning his head back and forth at the yokai around him. It'll take a while to adapt to the sight of the supernatural race around him. After taking different turns, the maid stopped in front of a huge door. A door leading to a stylish dining hall, no doubt. Rich people loved flaunting their wealth. The maid announced her presence and pushed the door open. Naruto leaned, expecting to see assorted meals on a long table with rows of table on each side, but some things never go as planned. The look of disdain on Yusaka's face was infuriating to say the least. The blonde figure on the older Kyuubi's right caught his attention, and further scrutiny revealed the figure to be that blonde and that somehow saved him yesterday. "Yo Kunu." He greeted the only one he was happy to see that morning. "Naruto Itausen." She greeted with great enthusiasm, none of which Yusaka shared at all. "Kunu," she admonished. The blonde mother was having none of that. Naruto will never become her daughter's father, as long as breath swells her chest. A rather bountiful chest. "Hello, weird blonde woman." Naruto, now seated beside Kunu, greeted the N. "Naruto-san, a good morning to you." Naruto nodded and took a chopstick before getting down to business. With the table manners forgotten, Naruto munched down the delicious meal with such ferocity which made even Kunu cringe a bit. "Vermin." Yusaka was more than happy to voice her disapproval of his food manners. "Relax, would you? This is my first decent meal in weeks." That earned Naruto little sympathy from Kunu and the blonde N. "Still, that's no excuse for your unruly behavior. You got a problem with me?" Foxy-chan. Naruto knew this wasn't him, but riling up Yusaka was so fun he couldn't help it. Naruto eyed the bent spoon in her hands, and he was pretty sure it was straight a moment ago. "Foxy-chan, I'll kill him." Yusaka orbs were pure white, courtesy of the burning fury traveled through her body wanting release. "Slow down, you'll get to pummel me all you want a week from now." Bijuus rather enjoyed the soup he was sipping on. "I really mightn't kill you." A serene smile veiled her hostile intentions pretty well. "We'll see about that." Naruto finished the conversation. "Poor, you've got spunk, Naruto-san. I might as well make you mine when you fail," she said. "When I fail? You underestimate me, lady." Many have done the same, but Naruto-sama still stand undefeated. Naruto laughed out loud like his perverted sensei would when under the influence of alcohol, and the blonde Nico model let put a giggle. Scene change. Are we there yet? Naruto had his hands in Kunu's teen digits as she dragged him around the sea of crowds, navigating her way to her destination. More than he could count, the shinobi had bumped into different Yakuya, and offered a quick sorry before he was pulled along by the ecstatic little Kyuubi. We're here. Kunu stopped in front of a bookstore with a stupid smile, martyr cute face. The only child of Yusaka loved to read books about different supernatural races and comics. After breakfast she barged into Naruto's room, and somehow talked him into going sightseeing. The Uzumaki agreed, and here they were, having a blast around town. Naruto was the less bit bothered by the shadows sneaking around them. He dismissed them as royal guards, or something protecting Kunu and the same time keeping track on him. Kunu-sama, what are you doing out here alone? The little girl stopped when she heard Genyu's familiar voice behind her. I'm not alone. She spun on the balls of her feet and pointed behind at Naruto, who was admiring the streets of Kyoto. Naruto blinked when he felt an intense gaze, and looked around for Kunu before his blue orbs landed on her besides Genyu. The Kyuubi. He sneered. I have a name. Believe it. Naruto's old verbal tick resurfaced. Believe it. Kunu tested the words. You forget about that, okay? I'd die of embarrassment if your mother, or that blonde Anne who's still right lip about her name found out. It's fancy meeting you out here. Genyu had a group of soldiers behind him. His elites he called the lot. Likewise. I see you're familiarizing yourself with the streets of Kyoto. Yeah, I might one day rule this place so it wouldn't hurt to poke around. Damn it, I'm getting sarcastic. Damn that blonde fox. Ever since he landed in this strange world, he had noticed a subtle, yet gradual change in him. He wasn't afraid to voice his thoughts without pulling any punches, and he was getting arrogant. It's puberty or something. Naruto dismissed it as unimportant. You wouldn't mind a spar with a member of my elite squad, would you, Kyuubi-sama? Genyu exclaimed on the Kyuubi-sama part. A rare seriousness was evident on Naruto's face. Sure thing. I'll take him on. Genyu and his minions, subordinates with Kunu, were on the sidelines spectating a mock spar between Naruto and a three-tailed fox Yakuya. They had found nice clearing big enough for a spar. It's an honor fighting a nine-tailed fox. The Kyuubi named Kudo began. I thought this was a spar. Naruto got into the basic academy stance anyway. Hajime. Genyu yelled from the sidelines. The group of Yakuya had gathered around to feed their eyes on a rare occasion like this one. Kudo began assaulting Naruto with different punches which Naruto skillfully dodged with ease. The ones that got too close for comfort was parried, more like slapped away. Naruto was testing the waters before he jumped in. With a yelp of surprise, Naruto slid past a blue fireball heading for where his heart was. I thought this was a mock spar. Naruto had a fist in the air in childish anger. He jumped and stepped aside. The wave of fireballs rushed at him. Low Taijutsu, and only a mid-range Karen Jutsu. I'm disappointed. He advanced forward, slipping past the fiery projectiles, before two huge fireballs dwarfing the rest appeared in front of him all of a sudden. What the? A smokescreen created by the little fireballs. That was impossible. He would have seen a big fireball like this coming. Water release. Tearing torrents. Water spiral in Naruto's hand, and doused the blue flames, creating steam huge enough to cover Naruto's position entirely. Different gas sprang through the clearing. Kunu and Kudo had a hard time believing their eyes. Genyu narrowed his eyes in suspicion. Naruto, still in the cloud of steam, knew he had fucked up somehow when he heard the gasp and murmurs coming from the sidelines. The steam cleared, and he could see Kunu had a bewildered look on her face. A quick glance at his opponent revealed him in the same manner. Was ninjutsu a rare sight for them? He guessed. Wow, I'm using my brain a lot more than usual. Everyone would be proud. It wasn't ninjutsu that got them bewildered, nay. It was the nature of the ninjutsu, water. Kitsunes were well known for their ability to control fire. Here was one who had the ability to control water. Instead of treating him like an outcast, they all rejoiced, because a new Kyuubi with water abilities had surfaced. Praise the logs, or the fox, or the monkey like Yaokase. Oh, I almost forgot. Praise Amaterasu. The female goddess felt an eerie chill run down her spine. Kyuubi-sama. Koda stuttered. Water beats fire in always. Kudo never stood a chance. Well, had it been he met an Uchiha zombie spewing majestic flames, his belief would have been affected greatly. It's Naruto. I swear, I'll start acting like I don't know your names. He said in mock anger. This would eventually become habitual of Naruto in the future. It's not over yet. Oh yeah, it is. Naruto speed blitzed poor Kudo, and knocked him unconscious. Winner. Naruto. Genyu had a bitter taste left in his mouth. As he announced Naruto the winner, he watched Naruto and Kunu jump up and down while holding hands, celebrating his victory. The new Kyuubi was going to be a major thorn in the flesh. Rejoice for now. There's no way you'd beat Yusaka. Kyuubi. Genyu signaled his subordinates to leave. That was so cool, Naruto Tausen. Kunu had stars for eyes. Otu-san. Even if you lost a mother, I still consider you a father. The little kitsune took a liking to Naruto faster than expected, and Naruto also did the same. Without Genyu gone, Naruto and Kunu traveled a bit further before she got tired and hungry. "You tired?" he asked when he noticed the dampened enthusiasm she emitted. Kunu answered with an honest nod. It was evening, and Naruto decided to call it a day. "Get on." Naruto kneeled on one knee in front of her. Kunu stared at his white inviting back. "Don't want a piggyback ride?" Kunu was sped. Naruto thought she didn't possess, latched onto his back and wrapped her arms around his neck. Naruto could feel the joy rolling off her. As he ran at a steady human pace, he glanced at her and mirrored the smile on her face. The girl enjoyed the wind rushing through her face. She had always wanted a brother or father figure to this swift. "Hold on tight, this is going to be a bumpy ride." Kunu shivered with excitement and obliged. Naruto pumped character into his feet for added effect and blasted into the firmament, and his little passenger squeal of delight told him he did something right. Kunu could see her home in the distance as the forest and buildings became a green mass below. Her joy turned to panic when they reached the maximum height, and gravity, damn gravity, pulled them down. The change in her emotion went unnoticed by Naruto. As he focused on channeling wind character into his feet, wanting to make the little scream her heart out in pure joy. Decent amount of wind chakra condensed in his feet, and all of it was released when it reached it once. "Ah!" Naruto went straight like a projectile bullet rushing through the wind, chuckling at Kunu's fear. As soon as they neared the ground, Naruto bounced off on buildings or trees and took to the vault of heavens again. The normally long journey took no more than 8 minutes before Naruto landed coolly in front of their residence. Naruto's kimono was in disarray. Though he complained when the maids gave him the kimono to wear. He wasn't going to keep wearing something like this to an entire week. "That was fun. Let's do it again," Kunu begged. "Maybe later." "No. I want it now. I'm tired, Kunu-chan. I promise I'll do this tomorrow." "No fair, Naruto-Tauchin." "Kunu-chan. Tu-chan." Misaka wondered when she heard Naruto and Kunu bicker back and forth. With rising dread she hastened her pace, took a turn and saw Kunu jumping around holding a fistful of Naruto's kimono, with an adorable pout on her face. "Get away from my daughter, you vermin." Their screams started them both. "Oh? Look, it's the big bad fox. How has life been to you? Come here, Kunu." She totally ignored Naruto's jab. "No?" Kunu answered defiantly, and hid behind Naruto. Misaka gritted her teeth, and leveled a glare at Naruto, which was intensified when she saw the cocky smirk on Naruto's face. There was Fox who didn't play with us, and Misaka was her name. "Oh. Relax, Misaka, you're queen, you'll get to castrate him all you want in a week's time." She took deep calming breaths. "Ah, like you could castrate me." The last string holding Misaka down snapped. Hard. The whole palace shook as Misaka's superior flames hit different buildings in a mad pursuit against Naruto. The blonde shinobi had a huge grin on his face. As he dodged and ran for his life. When was the last time he had so much fun? "Come back here, Uzumaki Naruto." The blonde ninja landed harshly on a rooftop, stupefied by what her eyes was bearing witness to. Looks like Misaka had took a liking to Naruto. "Ah, my ass is on fire." She heard Naruto's screams. Naruto occasionally spoke with the blonde Nico, who withheld her name for some reason. Misaka started blushing when Naruto was near, and they would bicker constantly. Naruto found a confidant in Kunu, as he told her of his great prank chronicles, and subsequently earned a disciple in the art of pranking. Every day was like Christmas for Kunu with Naruto around. And so, 4 days went by with Naruto forming a strong bond with Kunu. "He's not you think he is." Anonymous. Genyu read out a letter gate guard had brought in. For Genyu's eyes only. He squeezed the paper and lit it up in a brilliant golden flame. Day 5, early morning. "I got you know." The white and red blur jumped on what she suspected was a sleeping Naruto. Her foot sank into a covered soft blanket with a human-like shape. Spending time with Naruto, the kitsune was bound to pick up 1 or 2 things from the human in disguise. Above. Turns out, Kunu was a great sensor. Without confirming with her eyes, she blasted her up at the ceilings and flipped herself mid-air and stuck to the ceiling using chakra. As expected of my students. Naruto was in a squat on the ceiling upside down, beaming brightly. He gently patted her in the head. "You're still 1,000 years too young to prank me." "Yeah." Naruto taught Kunu the tree walking exercise. A basic chakra control exercise, and she completely grasped the entire thing in 2 days. Kunu mirrored Naruto's reaction with greater intensity. "Say, what are we going to do today?" She was bubbling with energy today. Naruto narrowed his eyes. "Kunu, we have a super secret mission to accomplish. We shall prank that blonde Nico." Naruto had an over-serious look on his face, making Kunu shrink back. "Fear not, Kunu. It's not the punishment that follows a successful prank, but the joy, the sense of accomplishment that matters." Naruto spoke with so much emotion he transformed into an old sage mod speech. Without a chakra network, it was really hard to apply a continuous stream of chakra. Thus, Kunu still had a long way to go before she fully mastered the tree walking exercise. She lost control and touched down with the race of a ninja. Chakra control is hard. How come you don't have any problem controlling yours? She had an adorable pout on for effect. It's simple. I'm awesome. Naruto snickered. Oyasaka, I have a favor to ask. Naruto barged into the domicile of the leader of Kyoto. Very few people could do that. Naruto stopped on his track when he saw a rumpled sheet on Yusaka's hands with a blank gaze directed at the floor. Oi. Naruto's attempt to gain her attention was futile. Naruto just noticed the elders and other Yaonas he's never seen were present. Genyu and the blonde Iko were present, and even an idiot like him knew the atmosphere wasn't good. What's wrong? Concern was evident in his words. Naruto Uzumaki. Is it your true name? Naruto didn't like Yusaka's tone one bit. He recognized it all too well. Of course that's name. The fist propelled Naruto off his feet through the thick wall before he bounced off hard concrete, leaving a trail of debris. I trusted you. I let you near my child. And I was even starting. Naruto could feel her fury burning his skin. A wrinkled sheet appeared in his line of sight. Who sent you? Look Yusaka, let's just. Naruto's eyes whitened in sheer disbelief when Yusaka appeared in front of him. Not because of her speed, and definitely not for the strength in her kick. Her presence melded with Kyoto almost perfectly. A sage? The possibility of her being a sage stunned Naruto like a flash gun. It was inconceivable. Not to brag or anything, Naruto knew he was the only perfect sage in the dimension. Whatever this technique was, it was really similar to senjutsu. Yusaka was about to continue her onslaught, but the sight of her daughter staring at them with surprise and confusion kept her in check. You're not one of us. Her declaration caught everyone off guard. Yusaka. I know he seems suspicious, but we don't have solid evidence right now. This might be a prank or something. Yusaka's old friend didn't want to believe Naruto was what the evidence was pointing at. She wasn't a fan of Genyu at all. Who knows, maybe this was Genyu's scheme. Everyone knew he had hostile feelings to Yusaka. He's not one of us. Yusaka's uncharacteristic yell made everyone flinch. Mother, what's going on? Why didn't I think of it? She grabbed her hair in frustration. No. Naruto Uzumaki, what are you? Yusaka was losing her mind right now. A part of her wanted to hear Naruto say it was all a lie, and another part wanted to know the ugly truth. It was fun. Naruto wiped the life-giving liquid off his face. I really enjoyed my time here. He stood up and dusted off a kimono he shouldn't have worn. Maybe a little too much. I forgot my priority. He balled up his fist. His chakra was sizzling. It was starting to act up. I was swayed. Naruto wanted to do right by Kunu. He reigned over his chakra. My real family's still stuck in Mugen Tsukiyomi. The seal was almost complete. Wake up, Naruto. So what if I'm human? Nine Tails proofed out of existence. Everyone present couldn't believe their eyes. None felt shock more than Kunu. How is this possible? 4 words. 1 question. 1 explanation that would surely rock the foundation of DxD to the smallest echelon. That's because I'm. Naruto's blonde bangs were shadowing his eyes. He raised his head up and stared directly at Yusaka yellow orbs with a smug smirk on his face. Awesome. A fist flew right at his cheek again, but this time, it stopped before it could make contact. Stop. She stood up for him even though he deceived them all. Yusaka was short of words, her daughter was protecting him. In just 5 days, her little Kunu had grown attached to Naruto Uzumaki. Yusaka-sama. Yusaka-sama. The guard came rushing in with great speed. It's our borderline. It's under attack. What? Humans, they all had unique abilities and their numbers. I couldn't count them all, but it all made sense now. It dawned on Yusaka. I was like cold water had replaced the blood inside her veins. Human. Breach. How? Borderline. Unique abilities. Sacred gear. Naruto. As her mind ran these possibilities, Naruto had somehow managed to beat her to it. I repeat, Naruto had managed to somehow beat her to it. Human faction. This is bad. With ultimate class devil speed, she got in front of Naruto's face. Sapphire blue orbs almost popped out in realization and impending doom. Yusaka, it's not what you. A flame-covered hand grabbed Naruto's face. The heat was searing. His skin hissed as slender digits dug into it. His feet dangled in the air. Incredible force pushed him off balance. Think. Boom. Kunu saw her mother appear beside her all of a sudden, and a blink later, her fox ears were ringing. An impressive gust of wind emanating from beside her flapped her kimono in a will manner. Dust filled her vision, and an eerie chill went down her spine. What in the time it took to regain her wits and turn her head sideways, it was as if the cloud of dust was just an illusion. Baka-san had face-slammed Naruto, head first into the hard floor, creating an uneven crater stained with blood. Naruto wasn't going to recover from that without Kurama. He could, but it would take a while. I want this traitor imprisoned. I'll execute him myself. The loving, soft-spoken mother Kunu knew was an alien compared to what she was seeing. This wasn't her mom. This was the leader of Kyoto talking. The revered and feared Kyubi. Thanks for listening. If you want the next part of this video, Like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. And also check out the playlist that I have created, and enjoy. Link is in the description. See you in the next video. Peace.